Hello, good afternoon. My name's Lisa and I'd like to welcome you back to my channel. If this is your first time here, then thank you very much for choosing to watch this video. And if you are a returning subscriber, then thank you so much. I do really appreciate you. Now, the video that we're going to be looking at today is coming from Jessie Ward. I'm sure you've all heard about the famous 10-mile hike in the Colombian sunshine. This original video Jessie Ward did take down, but luckily I have a copy of it and I have already reacted to the whole of that. And you will find that up there in the playlist if you want to go and watch that one. But this particular video is her reaction to all the videos that have been made about the Colombia trip. Now, what's very interesting about this second video is that how shall we put it? Wow! The first story and the second story don't sort of add up. So are we going to say that she was telling lies in one video or the other, or is she just storytelling? I'm also going to input some sections of videos of people that actually went on this trip. So hopefully by watching those sections and doing a commentary, we may be able to come to a conclusion of what is the truth, what is a lie, what is just storytelling, and what is totally inconsistent. So let's dive right in.
Hello everybody, what's going on? It's Jessie Lee. You can call me #Bosslee or the People's Mentor. I help people make 6 and 7 figures online from their phones.
Well, that's one thing that's quite consistent. Jessie Lee does always introduce herself as someone who helps people to make 6 and 7 figures. But I'd actually like to know the statistics on how many people that she's helped to do that. I mean, don't get me wrong, she is extremely successful and she does make a lot of money. But it would be interesting, wouldn't it, to find out just exactly how many of her thousands of people in her downline have actually made 6 and 7 figures. Because I'm pretty certain that a lot of them are also in the 99.6% of people who join an MLM and end up losing money as opposed to actually making any.
And I have Sasha, Mateo, and Abby here. You can ask questions about the 15-hour hike. We are actually kind of excited about that. And Sasha and Mateo, it doesn't have to be about these egregious claims that are being made on the internet. But anyway.
Well, I'm equally as excited as you, Jessie Lee, to react to this video and to use your words, the egregious claims, because all of these claims were based on the video that you personally put out. So if there is information that's not correct in them, that is because we are quoting the information that you actually provided. So are you saying that your storytelling wasn't correct? That maybe you embellished the truth? Or did you really trick these people? So answer that question, Jessie Lee. Which one of your videos is right and which one is wrong? Well, we shall find out by the time we get to the end of this video, because this video is going to contain clips from both of your videos. So we'll know, won't we?
Your account of what happened sounded very brutal. Was it that intense? Mateo, take this one. Okay. What happened in Colombia sounded very brutal, according to the videos that people are making about us. Would you like to talk about the intensity?
Hey guys, how you doing?
This is Mateo!
So, you want the actual truth? It was brutal.
Even though you're joking when you're saying it was brutal, I agree that it was. because you took these people on a trip totally unprepared. Now later on in this video you're going to say that if they weren't prepared it was their fault, but the preparation that you told them to do didn't have any information in it that would make them think that they were going to walk for 10 miles in direct sunlight in Colombia. And yes, for many of the people on the trip, it would have been brutal. Now, the guy you're standing next to is very fit. You can see that he works out. So for him, it wouldn't have been brutal at all. And that's where the differences lie. So it's all right for him to jokingly say, it was brutal. Well, for people who are seriously unfit, which some of the people on the trip admitted that they were, then yes, for them it would have totally been brutal.
Was incredible. Like a lot of people, out of the 16 people, at least 15 could have died, because Sasha France, you don't kill him even like, I don't know, even in the worst situation ever.
Ah, the truth comes out. So you're admitting now that 15 of the people on the trip could have died. Yet again, we see that you are joking, but in actuality, the place that you were, with the lack of preparation and the lack of support, yes, people could have died. But we'll find out a little bit more of how they could have died as we progress through the video, because it will become very apparent shortly.
So the actual truth is that the hike, because we want to call it like that, but it wasn't even a hike, challenge level 2, like literally for absolute beginners.
In my opinion, it was a hell of a lot more than a challenge level 2. How many people do you know who don't exercise could literally walk 10 miles straight off? Because personally, I don't know anyone that could do that. It is not for beginners in any way, shape or form. That is just total bullshit.
It was organized for mentally be prepared for everything. So like let's prepare for a 15 hours hike or whatever. But it was a really soft thing, even though physically it wasn't such an incredible thing. Then, okay, we had a person that after 45 minutes was a bit sick because of the heat.
If it was such a soft thing, then how can somebody be sick after only X amount of minutes because of the heat? Surely, if it was such a soft thing, then the heat wouldn't have affected that person. I mean, that's the way I see what he's just said. How about you? What do you think? Do you think it was so soft? And surely what he's saying is a total contradiction? Or is that just me? Let me know in the comments.
We had different stops and we always had a backup plan. So actually the person that had the issue in the very first 45 minutes, then she had options of being transported back with a helicopter eventually.
She had the option of being transported with a helicopter eventually. So how long is eventually? On the next screen, you're going to see a part of Christy's video, and she's going to tell us that they had no signal on their phones. So how were they going to attract the attention of anyone with a helicopter? What were they going to do? Send out smoke signals?
Now we had no lines of communication. I could take videos and I can take pictures, but I had no Wi-Fi. And a lot of other people had no Wi-Fi.
She had an option which she take. So we had different flags that we were saying. So do you want to use the
Yellow
green flag,
flag.
the yellow flag, etc. So, and she used the flag. So we had a motorbike picking her up and transporting her to the next stop point.
Hi, editing Lisa here. Forgot to put this bit in. So in that section, Matteo says that they use flags, and in the next section Jessie Lee says something completely different. So let's see what she said in the original video.
What is happening right now? No way. Like, this is actually impossible. Somebody's on the ground and they're like, I'm overheating. It's so hot. I can't walk this long. I'm like looking at Sasha, looking at Mateo, looking at Sasha, looking at Mateo. Mateo's like, and you could tell that the tour guides were like, this ain't gonna be good. And then so I told Sasha and Mateo, I'm like, what are we gonna do? Like, do we call, like, is there a 911 for Colombia? Like, this person's on the ground, says we're checking their blood, their pulse, everything. This person's not diabetic. Thank God. I thought we were gonna have 2 diabetics. I'm like, oh God, nobody told us anything, right? So anyway, long story short, we had to call an emergency motorcycle 45 minutes into the walk.
So far we've been told that they were totally prepared. Everything was organised. There was no way that anything could go wrong. And yet you've got Jessie Ward in that video saying they didn't know anything. Well, is that what you call being prepared? Now, she says that they called a motorcycle. So from that terminology, I would deduce that they used their mobile phone and rang someone as an emergency situation, which they had already pre-prepared in case something went wrong. But when we see the next part, which is what Christy is going to say, she says something totally different. So let's look at what Christy has to say.
They decided that the girl was not going to go back, but they flagged down a Colombian. Okay, listen to this. They flagged down a Colombian on a motorcycle. Just, hey, stop. Okay, this young kid pulls over. She gets on the back of this motorcycle with a Colombian that does not speak English. And they drive her and one of the guides to the destination, the first destination that we are going to. Oh my gosh. I'm like, no.
As you can see, Christy's version of events is totally different to Jessie Ward's version of events. So my question to you is, who do you believe? Do you believe Jessie Ward or do you believe Christy? Well, in my personal opinion, I believe Christy, because Jessie Ward took down the original video because it has got so many untruths in it, I'm going to call it at the moment. Otherwise, why did she take it down? If everything in it was true, she didn't have a reason to take it down, did she? And in my opinion, she took it down because she was guilty of putting her team in danger, not being prepared like she said she was. And this second video, she is calling out everyone that is reacting to her first video when she got it completely wrong. And now she's got 2 other people that were on the trip there in her house. So why has she got 2 people on camera now defending their trip if everything that she said was correct in the first video? That's what I really want to know.
Absolutely calculated. Nobody was ever at a life risk or anything like that, and that's super ridiculous. Like, even just thinking that way. And even if it was, it's an experience.
None of these people were at risk, but even if they were, it was just an experience. I don't think that's an experience that I would like to go through. How about you?
Or whatever.
Exactly. I love it. It was funny though. Yeah. It was hot. You know, people were sweating, especially the people from Sweden who aren't used to the heat. So what? Who had insulin the whole time? Who told you guys she didn't have insulin? Where did that detail come in? Well, I have diabetes. I got to check my blood sugar. And Sasha and I look at each other like, nobody mentioned diabetes. Like, we might actually kill people on this trip. Like, we literally thought that. I was like, oh my God.
Well, looking at that clip, maybe it was you, Jessie, who told us that she might not have had insulin. You didn't actually say, oh, she might not have had insulin, but you did actually say that you didn't know she was a diabetic. So therefore it is highly possible that she might not have had insulin, because you told them the trip was only 2 hours, and maybe in a 2 hour span she wouldn't actually need insulin. So that's why it's important to tell people who have got serious medical conditions how long the trip is actually for. Because yes, if she didn't have her insulin, she could have gone into a diabetic coma, and yes, she could have died. But obviously you find that funny. Well, most people don't.
Like, why are you listening to these people? Like, it's incredible.
The only person that I've listened to about this trip is actually you. So is it incredible that I listen to you? How does that work then?
Amazing marketing, though. Literally, the couch potatoes out here are triggered. We agree.
Please, can you define a couch potato? I don't understand what one of those is.
So, are you excited for all the lawsuits coming my way? Let's discuss this. Who would sue? Like, nobody would sue. And by the way, how do you know they didn't sign waivers to begin with? Did you think about that?
I did. I considered the fact that they could have signed waivers before they went on this trip. But what use would the waivers be? Because you would basically be asking them to sign a blank piece of paper, which is totally worthless. Because if you wrote the definition of what they were actually doing on this trip, then you would have to reveal the fact that they were going to hike for 15 hours. And you've already told us that you tricked all these people into this so you could break them. Your words, not mine. So if they did sign a waiver, then tell us what it said on it then. Because whatever it said wouldn't have been the truth. So therefore, it would be totally inadmissible.
Or are you just watching these videos of these two total couch potatoes who could never survive the walk, the hike?
I feel what you just said there is very insulting. You couldn't possibly know whether anyone could survive this walk or not. And that is based on things that you have already said. You told us that the people that went on the trip survived it and benefited from it, and yet they were totally unprepared. A lot of them were seriously unfit and possibly couch potatoes. So if they can manage to do it, then why can't anybody else?
She was never a top leader. The woman loves to lie, okay? Loves to lie and embellish. 30,000 points on our team is absolutely not a top leader.
The woman loves to lie, eh? Wow, I know exactly who she is talking about, and I'm sure a lot of you watching this video do as well. So let's see what the qualifying criteria was to go on this trip from one of the people that was actually on it.
And this is a team retreat for champs in our organization. Those people we all earned this trip. We are all active champs, which means we all bring in 30,000 points of volume for our company.
Oh, look at that. She earned 30,000 points. And Jessie Ward said in her video that this was a top leaders retreat and only the top leaders got to go on it. And they had to hit a qualifying criteria to be able to go on it. And that criteria was 30,000 points a month. So who's lying now then?
Oh, are you the woman that took her leaders on a 15-mile hike? Well, now it's 15 miles. I thought it was 15 hours. I'm trying to get the facts straight, guys. Was it 15 hours? Can you please tell me the story? Because I know I was there and you weren't, but like, I would love to know the story. 3 of us that were literally there are in the room right now, and none of you were there, but you seem to know more about the trip than the people who were there. So just please give me more information since I wasn't there.
We don't actually need to be there to tell you what happened on the trip, because you told us in the video that you took down. You told us all the details, and then you got the people that went on the trip to defend your actions by making their own videos, and they also told us what happened on the trip. So we do have all the facts. But just in case you're not sure, we'll play this next clip, which will make it become a lot clearer for you, Jessie Lee.
Like, I knew how far we were going in the direct sunlight. Not that it mattered, but I was like, here we go. Now now look, I did actually over prepare. All right. I thought I had to have enough water for 18 hours because we have a really, really long way to go. It's bad for momentum. I literally know that we have at least 15 hours left of this, but whatever.
So now we know the answer. It was at least 15 hours. And yet you told the people that were going on it was only for 2 hours.
You and Mateo this morning laughed and you said that people were saying that there is not a way that you can't tell if somebody's healthy from what they look like. I disagree because I feel like I look very healthy. I also feel very healthy. But like, so do you have an opinion on that?
No, for sure. You can see that how unhealthy people are.
You cannot see by looking at a person whether they are healthy or not, because you could see a really slim, fit looking person who works out at the gym who could be bulimic or anorexic even, but they could look healthy. I could go to the gym and work out and have muscles and look healthy, but I've got medical conditions that you can't see. I mean, I've got fibromyalgia. I've also got tendinitis in my shoulders and I've got arthritis throughout my body. But you wouldn't be able to see any of those conditions. So I totally disagree with you that you can tell that someone is healthy just by looking at them, because that is bullshit. You can't.
All right,
Hi, guys.
everyone, Sasha Franz. Does he look healthy?
Oh no, I'm fat. So first of all, the hike, that's amazing. I love to watch the video. Actually, if you're a fan of JL, go to the video and report it about racism and wrong informations, because...
Hey Sasha, I've watched the video and lots of others made from other creators as well. So please tell me where there is racism involved and also where the misinformation comes in. Because I watched Jessie Ward's video and I've also watched these other creators' videos, and they are reacting to everything that Jessie Lee said. So if they were committing racism and saying untruths, that's because the person who was putting out the video in the first place was committing those things. So should we go and report her and you and everyone else that has put a defence video out? Should we go and report all of you as well? Because that's basically what you're saying, that everyone needs to be reported. Well, surely that includes you.
No,
Well, this person is saying the person with diabetes could have died. Are you sure?
Yes, of course. That's 100% true.
Well, I'm happy to say that we finally got to a part of the video that I agree with you on. Yes, the diabetic could have died if she didn't have her insulin, and it was only through her preparation, not yours, that she actually survived. So yes, well done the person who is a diabetic for taking care of yourself, because the people that were supposed to be responsible for you, in their words, didn't even know they had a diabetic on the trip.
I do coaching and I do this outdoor stuff for over 10 years.
You do coaching and this outdoor stuff for over 10 years. So why aren't you better prepared then? Why did you not do a questionnaire of the people that were going on the trip and find out what their medical conditions were? Because that is the responsible thing to do, and it is something quite obviously you did not do.
You guys, you weren't there. So you weren't there 90 days in advance when I told them we would be doing physical exercises, get in good shape. You weren't there when 2 days before we set the entire stage of you need to prepare yourself. So if you're somebody who needs more water, more snacks, more clothes, more whatever, do that. You weren't there when we literally told them everything to do. I warned them. I said, look, you have 90 days. You have 90 days to get in shape, and you need to get in shape. So at any rate, I warned them. I said, you should probably be in the gym every single day for the 90 days leading up to it. I would cut your diet into high protein, moderate complex carbohydrates, and drop some fat. And some people did not listen to me. Like, I gave them fair warning. I think they thought that it was just going to be vacation.
I don't call what you said in that section of the video explaining to them what they need to do 90 days before. You've told them to go to the gym. Okay, so what if they go to the gym and lift weights? Is that going to help them on a 10-mile hike over 15 hours? No, it's not. It's no good just telling them to go to the gym. You need to tell them what exercises they need to do at the gym in order for them to be prepared. And you didn't, did you?
So, like, you literally weren't there, but then you watch a video of somebody who actually would have died on the hike. Like, I would say that they probably would have died on the walk. Whether it's heat exhaustion, sheer laziness, I don't really know. I don't think that they could have survived.
One of the people that Jessie Lee is talking about is featured here in these screenshots of her at the gym. And yet she's saying, Jessie Lee is saying, that this person wouldn't have survived. Well, I'd say that she looks a hell of a lot fitter than you do, Jessie Lee. So if you can survive, then I'm 100% sure that she could have as well. And the other person that you're referring to, I haven't got any pictures of her, but I know that she goes to the gym as well. And she even did admit that maybe she wouldn't survive at this point. And I said in the original video that I wouldn't have been able to do this hike. But if I started preparing for it 90 days before with all of the correct information, then I'm pretty certain I would have survived it then.
And that is the most interesting part is haters are just hating from below to up. If you are in a good position, you never hate downwards. You always hate upwards. So you know where the people are coming from.
Who hates you, Sasha and Jessie Lee? I'm a content creator. I watch your videos and comment on them. So that means I hate you, does it? No, it just means that I don't agree with the business model that you work for. So I don't agree with what you've just said because I don't hate you. And I know that the other content creators that I watch who make anti-MLM content don't hate you either, because they say so all the time in their videos. So where does the idea of a hater come from then? I mean, surely that's being racist, isn't it? You're describing us as haters when we're not. So is that a definition of racism, or is it just misinformation?
Look, what we are doing, what we did is a little bit more like parenting. Do you know what the real task for a parent is? There are only two things what you should give your kids. There are two things you should give: wings and roots.
Don't you just love people who don't have any kids to start giving you parenting advice? I mean, what experience has he got? Because he hasn't got any kids. So who's going to listen to him about parenting? And he says that you should give your kids wings. So what should you do then? Should you make him Peter Pan? And if you have a girl child, make her Tinkerbell? Is that how you give your kids wings? Or even better, maybe you should fill them up with Red Bull, because that's supposed to give you wings, isn't it?
No, don't block them. I'm on Instagram. Come and hate me, please.
Did Jessie Lee take your advice, Sasha, and not block people? Well, that would be highly unusual if she did, because she blocks everyone that makes videos about her, and yet she tells us how wonderful we are for her business. Well, if that's true, then why does she block us then?
None of you guys were there, and you have so many opinions on it. It's just like, I want you to pay attention to how people can market and literally brainwash you that fast. These people who were never successful in something then try to tear apart people that are successful what they do. Like,
you spend a lot of time, Jessie Lee, saying that people are unsuccessful, and you also say that you don't know these people. So which is it? They can't be both, can they? Because if you don't know them, then you can't possibly have any idea of what level of success that they've had in their life. So if there's any misinformation going around that needs reporting, it's going to be from you. And so therefore we should all report you, according to Sasha.
If you're on this live, just here to hate, I think, why don't you spend the time with the people you love instead of spread some hate?
Well, I wasn't on the live video. All I have done is gone to Jessie Lee's YouTube channel and downloaded this video, so therefore I'm not on it live and I'm not supporting it, and I'm not actually replaying it either so it gives her any views. I just downloaded it so I can react to it. And I am doing that sitting here with my husband and spending time with the person I love. So yes, I'm doing exactly what you're saying in spending my time, but I'm not a hater. I'm not causing any hate. All I'm doing is pointing out the inconsistencies of your stories.
the anti-MLM people don't do videos about men. Like, have you noticed they tear down women that they're wildly jealous of? Like,
First of all, anti-MLM creators do make content about men. It's true that there are a lot more videos about women than men in MLMs, and that is because there's a much higher ratio of women to men. And I am not jealous of you at all, Jessie Lee Ward. We own our own house. We drive the car that we choose to drive. We have money in the bank and we go when and where we want to on holiday. So what possible reason could I have to be jealous of?
so we already talked about this, but people did I make people hike for 15 hours without their consent? The answer is no. First of all, I never told you if they signed consent forms or not. That never happened. You also don't know how we prepared, though. We already talked about it. We can keep talking about it. You want to keep talking about the 15-hour hike, 15-hour walk. Wasn't even 15 hours, but whatever.
So we ended up walking 10 miles the first track. So that was 10 miles that we hiked to this bird sanctuary. We walk about 2 miles and we get to the beach. I'm like, yes, we might be done. No, we weren't done. We then were told that we are going to hike over these rocks into this cave, and then we were going to see this cave, and then we were going to hike back. Still tired, and I was still dizzy from the walk, the 10-mile hike, and the 3 miles that we had to get there to that beach. So we just hiked back over, thank you, Jesus, and we started hiking down the beach. I didn't sleep all night long. I was scared to death. I was like, what if somebody tries to rob us? What if somebody tries to steal us? I mean, we are in a third world country where the cartel and people get kidnapped all the time. But we had these 2 guys that were watching over us all night, because I kept watching them, that they were watching us.
MLM is predominantly women. It's kind of simple math. Well, I just showed you 2 men. The trip had 5 men on it. So, but you're saying it's 15 women on a 15-hour hike. So your stories are all a little crazy, but
Well, you've just proved your own point there, Jessie Lee, that there are predominantly more women than men, because you're saying there were 5 men. there, and yet there were 16 people. So that means 11 of them were women and 5 of them were men. So that's a 2-to-1 ratio. So surely, even in your mind, that means there were twice as many women there as men.
So thoughts on the Nike affiliate program? Welcome to network marketing. Thank you for bringing that up. Amazing. Officially, Nike now has a network marketing approach to it, just like Kendra Scott, which I love.
That's the kind of storytelling that gets you into trouble, because Nike does not have a network marketing opportunity. It has an affiliate marketing opportunity, and affiliate marketing and network marketing are totally different. Because if you are an affiliate marketer, you do not have to recruit anybody onto your team in order to make money. But in an MLM, you do. So they are not the same at all.
I don't know who you are and why I need to belittle. I would like an example of belittling and mocking. Let's go there. Where did I belittle and where did I mock?
I would say that the next section of video that I'm going to show you is a very good example of you belittling and mocking someone, in my opinion.
And I don't know what to tell you. Courtney was all excited. She's like, should I put the pants on now? Should I put the pants on later? I'm like, so Courtney was like, yeah, what about, oh, I got some extra this, some extra stickers. Like she's putting all this, because she was bug spraying. She was
Try and have a little bit more courage to travel. And I agree, everyone who doesn't have a passport, everyone is super scary. But if you start traveling, you will experience so much more things.
Why are you just assuming that people don't travel and haven't experienced anything? I mean, I travel. I'm going to tell you the places that I've been to, and I've had to write it down because it's so many and I can't remember them all. So I'm just going to read it off for you, okay? So I have been to Colombia, and in the USA, I've been to Miami, New York, Alaska and Seattle. I've been to Dubai, Italy, France, Portugal, Spain. I've been to Oman, Jamaica, Barbados, Honduras, Panama, Costa Rica, Mexico, the Cayman Islands, the Bahamas, the US Virgin Islands, the British Virgin Islands, Canada, Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao, St. Martin, Guadeloupe, Grenada, Antigua, St. Lucia, St. Kitts, the Cape Verde Islands, Gibraltar, Abu Dhabi, Prague, Greece, Turkey, Israel, Cyprus, Crete. I've also been to Gran Canaria, Fuerteventura and Lanzarote. So, you know, I'm very widely travelled. So therefore, I do have a lot of experience. So what's your point with that?
And I don't know where you got your information that we were alone or that we weren't protected or that there weren't security measures in place. I was there. They weren't there.
I didn't sleep all night long. I was scared to death. I was like, what if somebody tries to rob us? What if somebody tries to steal us? I mean, we are in a third world country where the cartel and people get kidnapped all the time. But we had these two guys that were watching over us all night because I kept watching them, that they were watching us.
You're on my video, which means you are supporting.
I think that's amusing. You are on my video, so you are supporting me. Well, that's true for the person that you're talking to live on it. But I'm on your video, but I'm not supporting you because this video isn't live. I've downloaded it. So therefore, I'm not supporting you at all. Well, there we have it. We've heard lots of different versions of stories from Jessie Lee and the people that were on the trip. And I just think all those clips prove a point that not everything that comes out of people's mouths is the truth. And the information in the anti-MLM videos was all provided by Jessie Lee and the people that actually went on the trip. Who do you believe? Do you believe people like Christy and the other lady who called out what Jessie Lee was saying by saying that she only had to get to 30,000 points to go on the trip, whereas Jessie Lee is saying that you're not a top leader if you get 30,000 points? Well, which is it? I mean, in my opinion, from what I've heard you say in these videos, not much of what you say is true. And if it is, then you actually contradict yourself and say something completely different. So it is very hard to ascertain what is the truth when you speak, to be fair. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed the truth, the lies, and the misinformation. I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.